In my life, I've been a few things. I've been a construction worker, I've been a Marine, I've been a truck driver for a lot of years.
Oh, I've been trying to be what you want me to.
I've always been passionate about history. I've been a husband, father, grandfather, widow. I've been a lot of things.
Oh, I've been working.
But since we last met, my passion for history has turned me into something that I never expected. Oh, damn. Woo. Oh, wow. Hey, it's me. What are you doing?
Hey! It's nice to hear your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got a ding from my phone, and this thing's like, what do they say, blowing up? Is that the term they use?
We got like almost close to 4,000 views.
No, is that like good? Like 4,000? I mean, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's really good.
All right. I became what today kids call a YouTuber. My name is Cathy Stoehr, and in my travels around the country, we will dig out together the most amazing stories. This is Hellbound. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, like people from California and Arizona. Heck, we even got one from Spain. Somebody from Spain looking at this stuff, man. I got to tell you what my daughter, I don't know if you read this one, but it's like, she says, where's all my history buffs at? Follow my dad around his 18-wheeler and find out some cool history. I used to keep up with the Kardashians, but now I keep up with my dad. Only thing cooler than having him as my dad is having my dad's dreams come true, man. It's like, wow, that's like brought a tear to my eye, you know?
Did you happen to see the one from Scott Harris?
No, I think that's the thing I was actually going to call you about. I just got it. Some geologist up there in Winder. Looks like he might have grew up there or something.
Yeah, he is a geologist, and he's a relative of the Chandler family. And he provided some feedback, so I think it's a good idea if maybe we can try and set up an interview with him.
Oh yeah, man, because he might be able to tell us about the temple or the altar up there or something, you know. But I wonder
Definitely, yeah.
Wonder if he's got any WOG stories. That'd be cool. Well, believe it or not, the geologist gave us the interview, and he was not any geologist. Scott Harris is a planetary geologist at Fernbank Science Center in Atlanta, but he is also related to Phil and Andrew Jackson Chandler, and his family has a long history with Nodoroc.
I'm actually the great-great-grandson of John L. Harris from Winder. I'm one of a number of geologists that have come out of the family, which is sort of fun given the relationship to the history of the Nodoroc site and kind of where it fits into the geology of the state.
Okay, and that's awesome. And what's your take on this stuff? A lot of people think that these steps at this old governor's house, this Governor Gilmer's house, built in the 1830s, was removed from the Nodoroc site.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures of the old house, and I think some of the stones that were said to be related to Nodoroc. Okay. But I don't see it. I was looking around. I don't see any of them immediately.
Yeah, we seen one earlier. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. You want to look for something very dark and round. And
okay.
There seems to be something over here that matches that. And this looks like this is very naturally rounded. There are two pieces here, and they're very dark. And I'm looking at this. There's enough of a little bit of a fresh surface here, so I'm pretty confident this is the diabase basalt.
And from the Nodoroc area.
Well, it's consistent with that. So, like I said, it's kind of neat because while Nodoroc itself is not a volcano, it's a peat bog that exploded with methane. These rocks were produced by volcanoes here that erupted 200 million years ago.
So you keep on talking about it's not a volcano. I mean, we looked through a lot of the old records and all the old timers. I mean, even the new ones, they all describe it as a volcano.
Well, it exploded because of methane.
Right.
And you mentioned before, people want to say mud volcanoes, like in Burma. Well, no, mud volcanoes in Burma are actually are what we call hydrothermal systems, just like Yellowstone, right? Down underneath there, you've got magmas that are coming up that are heating water, and they're leading to the production of hot mud that does come up. Very, very different.
Okay.
For the Nodoroc site, these mats of peat, these organic rotting materials that have been there for tens of thousands of years, when they decompose, they release gas, methane gas. Even when I was young, you could go out and on the surface of the water, you could see just bluish oil, right? That's the methane and some other hydrocarbons that are coating it. You could take that mud, put it in a jar, let it, cap it, and let that gas light it up.
What about the descriptions of like the black molten stuff? Does that fit a peat?
It would be. Okay. Yeah, you just, because if you had a lightning strike that ignited the peat or ignited some of the methane explosively, then it's going to boil. There's no doubt that it's going to boil and smolder. As long as you can get oxygen, once that's ignited, as long as there's oxygen feeding that, you've got the basic. You've got a very good fuel
the recipe's there. Yeah.
We saved the best for last. The thing that I like the most about this whole story, and whether it is, whether it isn't, we'll let Scott. He grew up there. We'll see what happens. Your WOG, man. Tell us about the WOG.
So imagine being, growing up being a scientist, and your family's been the caretaker of a mythical beast for 200 years. This is what I grew up knowing about. Is they have a lot of dogs. I mean, all the people in our family had raised dogs, bird dogs, and back before the highway got so busy, they were just out. And these were domesticated dogs, but they were in an environment where they got to develop their own pack mentality, and you didn't want to mess with it.
Right.
Those dogs.
Yeah.
And a couple of times there were groups of them that were mutilated. It was incredible.
Really?
And
wow.
Yeah, and you just didn't know. We do have black bear at some time come in,
right?
But you just imagine something that would be able to take on a group of dogs that had developed the pack mentality.
The natives had the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, and that rolled into the early settlers. And maybe the same thing with the WOG, but I mean,
they're fun stories, and it's a neat legend. And part of it, though, I would love to know the answer to, as part of the family, as a native of Bexar County, and also as a geologist, is what is the legitimacy or not of those stones, and what was their history? Why were they brought here? I still kind of have this dream of getting all these rocks back together.
Being a geologist, if the rocks could talk, man, we'd really be. We'd have a lot of answers, won't we?
Well, they do their best, and we do our best to listen, but sometimes they give them some weird messages.
Well, the way this dog was carrying on barking, I guess he wanted to be in the interview, so we gave him the chance.
It's our hellhound. He's the one that sniffs out all these stories right here, man.
I tell you, talking with this Scott Harris was eye-opening. I definitely need to get back to Nodoroc. Fortune is definitely shining its light on us, as today we get to meet with another member of the Chandler family.
We're here with Barry Chandler today. Last time we met with his dad Phil and brother Andrew Jackson. It was an overnight sensation. To say
yeah, I would say so.
Anyway, you got any WOG stories that?
The one that I personally I don't. The one that stands out the most, I think, is from my great grandmother. She would walk frequently from her house just up the street, close to the highway, and as she's coming back, she said she felt like she was being followed, that feeling that you get when you think somebody's watching you.
Right.
And she said she turned around and she looked behind her, and I don't know, 40, 50 yards behind her, she said it looked like there was something that was sort of stalking her in the woods. Large, black, kind of knelt down, and as she would turn, it would stop. And for a 55-year-old woman to run home, it seemed like it said something about what she saw. And she wouldn't come back. She wouldn't. I talked her into coming back here maybe once or twice more before she passed away. So it was just, and it was always with somebody. She never came back here by herself.
Is that right? Just from that one encounter?
Just from that experience, yeah.
Wow.
You know, large black creature. That's all she said it was the wog.
So thanks again for letting us.
Thank y'all. We appreciate it.
And we will respect it.
Absolutely.
And I already told the guys that are with us that if we find metal, go ahead and dig it up.
Sure.
anything looking like a native, like arrowhead or something, I've got stakes, and we'll go ahead and stake the ground and let the professionals later on, if we're fortunate enough to find something,
Sure.
check that out.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Awesome, man. Well, appreciate you having us. And
Yeah, thank y'all, man. Thank you
man.
again.
Let's see
It's
what we
always
can do, man.
fun, absolutely.
Hey, one other thing I
Yeah.
gotta tell you. My granddaughter asked her the other day, hey, if you happen to see the wog, like, what would you do? She's like, Grandpa, she's like, I'd run. I said, you run where? She says, to Jesus, I'd run. So, that's fun.
With Barry's green light, as well as the rest of the Chandler family, we welcome Ricky Frost, one of the best metal detectors I've ever met.
Welcome to Nodoroc, man.
Thank you.
Ready to
Glad-
have some fun today or what, man?
I'm glad to be here.
So if we do happen to run across any of this while we're metal detecting, do us a favor and I'll give you a pocket full of these, and anything other than metal that looks like native or something, just
All right.
put a stake in it, and we'll let the archaeologists come back later and do their thing.
Well-
Why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, I've been metal detecting probably 10 or 12 years. I do a lot for Cayuga County schools. I teach class for Adventure Camp. I was telling a little bit earlier about a 10-year-old girl that took one of my classes that said she was going to get her mom and dad to get her a metal detector for Christmas. And I said, well, I hope you do. And then I found out probably March, I think, of the following year that I was looking through the American Digger magazine, which goes nationwide. I was looking through it, and her picture was in there. She's 10 years old, and she actually had found a CSA belt buckle in her front yard.
Oh, is that? Oh, wow.
And that's what makes it worthwhile of teaching kids. If you just have one that go out and do it, you know.
With me, it's always been not so much what I find; it's just the story that I mean.
It is. It makes you wonder every time you dig something up. What did this person look like?
Yeah.
Who was this? When did they lose it or drop it, or what were they doing?
All right. Well, let's get out here and see what we can conjure up out there, man.
Well, I'm ready to give it a try.
Oh, I like it.
Called the Wog Whacker.
You only got one?
Only got one, man, but stick close to me. Check it out, man.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
You think that'll work?
Yeah. So if it weighs me down, I can't run fast enough. I'm still talking about you.
Hey guys, Susan's here. Good to see you. Yeah, awesome. How you been? Oh, this is that famous plant you was telling me about, huh?
This is Yaupon holly. It's the only caffeinated plant, highly caffeinated in North America. The Creek, Cherokee, and other tribes of Indians, they would brew it into a black tea, and it made you throw up, and it was a cleansing. So that is the Yaupon holly.
Before we head down the path to the Nodoroc, we're going to kind of gather and just say a little prayer to our God and maybe one to their gods. You guys, just whatever you want to say. But we just kind of thought of something. I'm going to stand here to the east. Happy trails and amen. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
This is an unbelievable opportunity we've been given here. I mean, to actually be able to explore this Nodoroc site, it's once in a lifetime chance for us. Join us next time to see if we get to unveil the mystery of this place.